Hi, this is Yozo from Kurasu, and today we want to use the coffee compass to guide ourselves to make better coffee. So the coffee compass has been around for quite some time. We're using the one from Barista Hussle. As you may know, Barista Hussle is a company founded by Matt Perger, based in Australia, former world Barista champion. And yeah, we're really surprised how few people actually, or maybe at least the people around us, our customers, know or don't know about the coffee compass. So we wanted to maybe remind and actually use this tool together to see how we calibrate our coffee. We use it in cases where maybe we go to events where we have a grinder that we don't necessarily particularly use on a daily basis, and we have little time to sort of calibrate, right? And through experience, we know what to do when coffee is acting in a certain way. But this is a great tool to sort of help us remind or help us guide us through, okay, when something is happening, when something is maybe astringent, or maybe something is a little bit not bright enough, or something is a little bit weak, what we need to do to make the coffee extraction better. So yeah, let's use it together and to see how the process works to make better coffee. Okay, so I'm in the coffee compass now in Barista Hussle's website. The URL will be listed in the description, in our YouTube description below. But you can see that this is actually something like a compass, right? And in the middle, you'll see a balanced sort of green circle inside, and you'll see what we are looking for when we want and when we are after a balance, a really good cup of coffee. So fruity, tasty, creamy, smooth mouth-filling. Mouth-filling is something that we're after. And if you go towards the outer circle, you see stuff in the red. For example, you see dull, or you see vegetal, you see bland, sparse, stuff like that. And when you have notes like that, for example, if it's watery, that it's maybe underextracted or weak. And we try to sort of go towards the green circle in the middle. So let's go vegetal and see what that says. So it says your brew is good, but you might find even more balanced flavor if you use a finer grind, longer brew time, and use less coffee. Right, so let's go on the other side, something like overwhelming, right? When your coffee is overwhelming, it says, okay, let's extract less. You use a coarser grind and or shorter brew time to extract less. So it tells you, okay, aim for a shorter or longer brew time, aim for more or less coffee, or change the grind size. So this is a really clear-cut guide to guide you through extracting better coffee when you have something that you want to change, or you want to make better, improve. So let's actually brew some coffees, taste together, and use the coffee compass to hopefully make the coffee better. We are using a Varia VS3 grinder. This is good. I'm using this because of two reasons. One is because I haven't really used this for quite some time for my filter brew. I usually, we obviously have an EK in the cafe, and also at home or in the office we have a fellow oat grinder, and that's what I'm usually using for filter. So I've used this in the past, but I haven't used it too much for filter brew recently. So it's a good sort of role play for me to sort of try to see if I can sort of extract good coffee, better coffee with this grinder. And the second reason why is this is a stepless grinder. So what that means is that there's no sort of noticeable clicks in between. It's stepless, so there's you can do small fine adjustments with this grinder. So it's great for purposes like this when we want to maybe do small increments in terms of improvements or in terms of changes. So for the first brew, I'm gonna do a 4 setting in the VS3. Because I remember, I think I brewed maybe around 3 or 4 or 5 last time, and I got a pretty nice brew. So I'm going to try out a 4 and see how that works. And again, this grinder is the grinder that we're using at the cafe, so I haven't used it, so maybe there's some little calibrations that needs to happen. But we'll see what happens with a 4 setting. And for the recipe we're gonna sort of set a set recipe. We're gonna be using 13 grams of coffee, 40 gram for the bloom phase, and then pour up to 100 grams, and then 150, then 200. So the recipe will be the same. We'll just be trying to hopefully adjust the grind size and see through the coffee compass and see how that changes. Okay, so the coffee that we're going to be using today is our Colombia Lisanda Quilque fully washed coffee. And it says here on our flavor notes, floral aroma, taste of orange, citrus sudachi, which is Japanese sort of citrus, and muscat cane sugar-like sweetness accompanying aftertaste. So that's the flavor notes there. So that's what we're trying to aim for, to get those nice sort of orange, floral, and muscat flavor notes. So 13 grams of coffee. Okay, so 13 grams of coffee on a 4 setting. And just visually looking at this, I'm thinking maybe it's a little bit coarse to what I'm usually used to for filter brew. But that's okay. This is a good experiment. Let's see how it actually brews. So I'm pouring 40 grams first, 30-second bloom. Then I'm going to pour up to 100 grams. And then on the 1 minute mark, I'm going to go up to 150. And finally at 120, I'm going to go up to 200 grams. Okay, so around a 2 minute and 10 extraction time. Let's try the coffee. Yeah, great. So like I said, the grind size seemed on the coarser end, just visually looking at it. And then, so I had an expectation for the coffee, and that expectation was in a way spot on. And also, I think we were looking at vegetal in the coffee compass, and I think we need to look at that again, because that's sort of what I'm getting with this coffee. I'm getting sort of nice flavors, but in terms of the sort of the orange citrusness of the coffee, but at the same time, it's a little bit sort of powdery. It's a little bit sort of vegetal. It's a little bit, green in a way. So we're not really getting that full potential of the coffee, right? So let's go back and try to find the vegetal. Cool. So yeah, vegetal, nutty, bland, underwhelming. That's all what I'm sort of getting right now. It's saying that it's under extracted, which is probably the case. Let's look at vegetal and see what it's actually telling us to do. It's telling us to do a finer grind, longer brew time, increase the brew ratio. So that's what I assumed, that if I didn't have the coffee compass, that's what I would have done. But having this, it sort of reinforces that to me as well. So let's go finer. So we were on 4. I think we need to go a little bit more finer, right? So maybe we will go up to 2 and see how that brews for us. So 13 grams on grind size 2. Cool. Again, so visually, it looks closer to what I'm used to, so that's great. But yeah, we'll do the same recipe and we'll see how it actually extracts. Cool, so extraction is done. Let's actually try the coffee. Yeah, that's much better than what we had previously. It seems that it's much more well extracted because I can feel the notes, the flavor notes in the coffee. Yeah, a lot of the sort of citrusy side is there. Sort of sugar-like sweetness is there. What I would say is that it is a bit on a weaker side. I feel that I can push it a little bit more. A phrase that I would use, and a lot of people in the coffee industry would use, is tea-like, which can be used in a positive and negative way. I actually really like sort of tea-like coffee, so especially in the mornings, I would be okay with this because it's on the lighter side, and that's how I like sort of my morning coffees. But if I were to serve this, I would want to push it a little bit more. Let's try to find sort of like a watery, sort of tea-like, faint. Those are sort of the words that come to mind. Let's see, with tea-like it says use finer grind, longer brew time. Okay, that makes sense. Faint, your brew is good, but you might have a balance more flavor if you decrease the brew ratio by using more coffee. Okay, that makes sense. So faint, you decrease the brew ratio. Slender, decrease the brew ratio. So if you look around this area, which is sort of what I'm getting, it tells me to grind finer, either grind finer or increase the dosage a little bit. So I think from what I'm going to do, I'm tasting this coffee, is I'm going to try to do both. I'm going to go finer and I'm going to try to increase the dosage as well because I think I want a little bit more from the coffee. So 2, let's go to 1, and also increase the dosage just by a little bit, so from 13 to 13.5. Let's try that and see how the brew comes out. So we're gonna do a 13.5 gram and 1. Okay, so let's brew 13.5 grams. Again, same recipe. Okay, let's try the coffee. And by the way, the extraction time has been pretty much the same for all these brews. Okay, so perfect. Perfect in terms of this demo because this is sort of going exactly where I want this to go. Yeah, a lot more flavor, a lot more sort of body, volume, sweetness in the coffee. I'm definitely getting, it's much more easier to find these notes that we have, the floralness, the sort of the orange, the muscats, the cane sugar. All this is more predominantly coming out with the increase probably in the dosage and also in the finer grind size. So yeah, the coffee compass is really guiding us to where we want to go, and this is close to what I would really want in this coffee. Yeah, and I would definitely be able to serve to our customers. If I were to say one negative thing about this is that I do sense a little bit of astringency. I do sense a little bit maybe of astringency. What I think is the right word for it on sort of the mouthfeel. So let's try to see, what the coffee compass says about astringency. Okay, so astringency, it says use a coarser grind. Okay, so we can try that, and especially with the stepless grinder, we can do small adjustments with this grinder, which is great, right? So let's try a slightly coarser grind to see if we can sort of get that astringency out of the coffee. So I'm at 1, let's go 1.5 and see how that changes. The same dosage, so 13.5 grams and 1.5 in terms of the grind size. Okay, so 13.5 and 1.5. grind size. Cool, so again, same recipe. Let's see how it works. Okay, so we finished our extraction. Let's try the coffee. Again, we had a little bit of astringency on the last cup, so according to the coffee compass, we did a little bit of coarser grind. Okay, so this is actually the result that I've been looking for. Probably the best cup out of all of the cups that we've tried so far. The astringency side, it's almost, I can almost not taste that sort of astringency that I had before. It maybe even turned into, very sort of sweet, sort of aromatic coffee, which is what we are looking for in a cup. And I can really find that all the sort of flavor notes that we've had for the Colombia is there. The body is there. It's really well balanced. Yeah, these small adjustments that we've made along the way, and we got a really nice sort of final result. And this is what we do, right, in the cafe setting. When we do small adjustments every morning, the coffees change depending on the sort of roast date, or it changes depending on the coffee. So we can't say, okay, this is the right grind size for all the coffee all the time. So we need to make these little small adjustments, and something like the coffee compass is a really great guide that accompanies your experience in terms of coffee. So whenever you get lost, whenever you find that this was the recipe that's been always working, but something's not right with the coffee, you just go within the compass, find what the negative characteristics that you find in the coffee, look for that, and then it tells you what you need to do to make that extraction better. So I hope that was informative. I hope if you've tried the coffee compass, or if the coffee compasses help you along the way, let us know in the comments below. We would love to sort of hear your thoughts. We'd love to hear what you are finding with the coffee compass as well. At Kurasu, we're trying to do these videos hopefully every week from now on. So in the comments below, please let us know what kind of content that you'd like to see going forward. We are working on more brew guides. We are working on trying to review different coffees or coffee equipments, but we would love to have your input. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you.